Okay.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Tea Time with Liz and friends. As you can see tonight, I am solo dolo for the moment because my girl Joe, she is under the weather. So y'all, please say a special prayer for Joe as she is recovering because this sickness stuff is getting crazy out here. But it is our final finale season show for the year, and we just want to say thank you all for rocking with us this far. I know we were a little late to the game this year, but we finished and we're finishing strong. I hope you have been encouraged by every episode, and we're gonna get into that tonight. But I have no announcements besides. Um, if you haven't, just go ahead and share this broadcast tonight. Let somebody know Tea Time is on and popping. If you ain't watching a football game, that is. Also, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on let's see what social medias we are on: Facebook and Instagram. So definitely hit your girls up there. We will be posting and all the clips that we talk about here tonight. We're going to just kind of recap, have like a countdown of the tops of the shows that we talked with our special guests, with our special friends. And we're going to repost those for your viewing. You can catch all full episodes on YouTube. I think Facebook is only doing like a 30-day situation these days. So I would not recommend staying close to Facebook, but if you could, like I said, subscribe to our YouTube channel and you could catch up on all the tea from the last 5 years. So, like I said, thank you all for rocking with us, for supporting us, especially when you see us in public. We are appreciative for you all to let us know that you care, you listen, and you tune in. Also, if you haven't, we are also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, excuse me. Where else are we on? We a whole bunch of platforms, y'all. You can get the tea anywhere, okay? Anywhere. Let me know if you can't catch the tea, because I'll make sure you catch the tea, all right? But this is the tea that restores the soul. We want to make sure that you are being restored in every way, in every avenue of life. So that is all I got for our announcements. So tonight, my guest, she's been such a great and amazing help this year. She helped us last year. She's always behind the scenes. It's my homie, my girl, my little mentee. I love her to death, Miss Lauren. Come on in. We
Hi,
here in the girl party. What up? What up? We are grateful to have Miss Lauren. She's the one that, helps us keep the comments going, takes all the trolls out, all the tea. So thank you, Miss Lauren, for all your hard work. Thank you for filling in for Joe tonight. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
It's another Monday, and Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I haven't done much decorating, but I've been listening to my Christmas music. You got a Christmas playlist?
No, unpopular opinion. I don't like Christmas music a whole lot. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm
What?
sorry. Yeah.
Oh Lord, we're gonna have to get you converted.
I mean, I like some, but all of the like when you go into like Target or like Starbucks and they have the music playing,
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, I don't prefer their playlist. Like, you got to create your own, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
something about certain Christmas songs that you got to have. You just got to have during the season.
I like this Christmas.
Oh, of course. Everybody loves this Christmas. Now, which version? There are so many out here. Whose version do you like?
I don't know the artist. I usually just type it in.
She said, "I don't even matter. I
I
just find
don't.
it and it comes." Okay. Chris Brown has been the famous one for like
Um,
remixing. I think Mary J did one. There's so many out here.
One that I listen to as a guy. It's like a group, I think.
Oh,
I don't know. Don't get me to line. Not
girl,
about that.
listen, there, like I said, there's so many versions. Everybody has a version. So tonight, let us know, what version of This Christmas do you like? All right. That's the question. All right. Well, let's get into this episode. Like I said, we are here in our final finale. We're going to talk about all the highlights this year that we had some amazing friends, amazing guests that spit so much wisdom, so much tea. I'm going to start with Miss Catherine. She was kind of a bonus episode. She was an author who shared her story about divorce and rebuilding her life. So I'm going to play this clip and we're going to talk about it. Now you're broken, right? After this divorce. So, how did you start to, build yourself again, or like where did you start to pick up the pieces in starting a new life?
I think. Well, I actually had the week that actually I knew the marriage was over. I went down to the river and I literally heard a voice that said, "The resources will always be here." And I a lot. It was enormous faith. The first thing I did a lot was I lived near the Mississippi River, and I would walk down to the river at the beginning, probably maybe even 5 times a day, and I would just pray. I would just pray that I would be able to go ahead, and that went on. There was a lot of huge relief in nature. So there was I don't know how many times I would go down there and I just would sit on the river, look at the water, and just know that they were somehow gonna go ahead. I really did believe from the very beginning that there would be a positive outcome to this whole thing. There was going to be a positive vision. And actually, even my ex, he was really great in many ways. The days when I would feel so badly that I could hardly walk across the room, he would say, "You keep your eye on the prize. It's going to be okay." And that was a beautiful, beautiful thing to have happened to me. But I think actually generally having a vision that was going to be all right over the flood, that was enormous. I think acknowledging grief, how really terrible it was.
You're muted.
There we go. We're back. That was Miss Catherine. She shared, like I said, her struggles of rebuilding her life from divorce to her present, and how she said she rebuilt. She went to she leaned to nature. She went and prayed. Have you ever had to rebuild your life, Lauren? I know you young, so you just getting started. But has there been any places?
I wouldn't say I ever had to rebuild my life.
Okay.
But
or I guess reset,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I guess when it comes to school, that's like the closest I've ever had to like rebuilding my life. Long story short, when I started college, I had to like take a break. It wasn't because of me, it was because my school was ghetto and they didn't have their stuff together. It like affected me because I wasn't aware of how ghetto they were. But yeah, and so I had to take like a year and a half off.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I mean everything, is cool now, but it was definitely hard having to like start because I was enrolled in classes. So it was hard having to like start and then take a break and then essentially start over.
To come back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole year and a half worth of stuff that I already had planned. I had to like completely erase it and start
I'm
over.
proud of you. You did it though. You did it. You did it. And that's not easy. Like once you get into, the game of getting into school, and then like you said, and then this wrench comes out of nowhere and you gotta like take a pause, but you got back in and you're doing amazing. So I'm proud of you. Hey, Miss Joe, she's tuning in even though she's not feeling well. We love you. We shout out to you. But that's, everybody has their different avenues of reset, right? And how you deal with it, how you jump back in and, go forward. And I love her comment in the sense of how she said that through it all, she knew something positive was going to come out of it. And I think we must be encouraged in that, right? Like, regardless of the lemons or the wrenches or whatever you want to say, that something good's gonna be built out of it. Something amazing lemonade will be sipped out of it. You know, whatever the case may be. So, for all of you that may have to reset yourselves this year, that is a great episode. You definitely want to tune into. All right. All right. So we did a series called Breaking the Silence this year, but we did a semi series talking about shacking up. Lauren, do you know what shacking up is? I know you tuned in, but what's your thoughts on shacking up?
Basically, sleeping with somebody you're not married to.
Okay, all right, that's real. And that's coming from what? You're Gen X, Gen Z? Sorry, Gen Z.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, that's all I heard in church growing up.
Okay, yes, and
But
you
I'm
are a
most
church
certainly
kid, yes.
not.
Absolutely, absolutely. That, I mean, basically, that's how they put it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's more than that, right? And I think we talked about that, and we talked about, what is love, and do love languages matter? And this was me and Joe's conversation. So tune into this clip. Love for us that there's no one thing you can do to please him over the other, that he accepts all things, even when we don't love him the most, he's still loving us, and that ain't what we can say with these love languages.
Yep. Yes.
Right. That is not what we can say with these love languages. So
And you know what? A lot of people.
Go ahead.
Sorry, a lot of people try to focus just on the love language, but it's so much bigger than that. It's so
Yeah.
much bigger than that, and the way that we can find love, period, is through the love of God. And
Absolutely.
that may sound cliche or even biblical, but it's true. I mean, can't nobody
Absolutely.
love you or teach love? The best teacher for love is God. God
Absolutely.
so loved the world that he
World.
gave.
Come on.
That's acts of giving. Gave his only begotten son. Who's
Come
gonna
on.
give up their child because they love somebody else?
Listen. Well, I mean, it is him, right? Like, he gave himself. He gave himself so that we could live again, that we could be loved again, and
Yes.
even
He gave
unconditionally.
himself.
So, it's so much more than what we subject ourselves to. So that's why I said I got to talk about it in my own way. And this is no judgment. I think it's a good source to remind you how to love and to give love, because love is a service. Like,
It
you
was
you
good.
have to continuously be selfless in love. But like you stated, no one else can teach us how to love but God. And if you don't allow God to love you, you can't love other people. So I say that in love to everyone. It's that, we really take the time to really search this
That
love
part.
thing. Loving conditionally. All right. So we got on the topic of love. So Laura, what's your view on love? What you think after hearing that clip?
Well, I was actually thinking about the comment you made when you said love, you have to be selfless, and I really agree with that, because I was actually just having a conversation with my friend, and we were talking about how a lot of times when we think about love, people automatically think of maybe like a romantic type of love.
Right.
But like, you can love your friends, you can love your family. Obviously, we're supposed to love God. And like, when it comes to like being selfless, that's 100% true. Because like when somebody loves you and they do for you, but then you don't do for them, that's not love. And so like, even if you don't feel like it, like sometimes you have to make sacrifices to show that you love somebody.
Come on. You was clocking the tea tonight. Let's go. I love that. And and I mean, love is hard. Listen, it ain't no joke, right?
Especially
But
if you really love someone.
if you really love someone, and I think that's why, when we are hurt by whomever hurt us in that love, we tend to want to set out revenge. We tend to want to, make them hurt like we hurt. But like I said, this is what Tea Time is here for, to help you to realize you don't have to get revenge, but you can still love again. You can heal, but get back up, and we can love again, right? Now, is it going to be easy? Probably not. But through it all, through the love of God, like I said in the clip, like that's where we get our example. He loves us unconditionally. He loves us even in our wrongs. He still holds us in his arms. He still listens to us cry and beg and all the crazy things, right? But he is our best example. So however he chooses to love us, we must try to strive for that as well. So that is that clip. Now we have some great guests. I have two clips from them. The Oats, shout out to them. They are expecting their first baby this month, so congratulations to them. We are excited to hear about baby's Jaden arrival. But Mr. Oates, he had some wisdom for the fellas, and Miss Oates, she had some wisdom for the ladies. So I'm going to play hers first, and then we'll get into Isaac's.
Development is owning where I'm broken. And I remember I had a conversation with a young lady quite some time ago, and they were asking me, like, hey, Sister Jamie, they told me some really in-depth stuff. And they're like, hey, Sister Jamie, are all women broken? And I said, well, all women experience brokenness to some degree, but it's their responsibility to fix it, right? Like you have to own that and you have to fix it.
Listen.
And it was a lot of work. And so I had to, part of my coming of age as a woman was to understand the places that I was broken, because I was determined not to pass that brokenness along. And so long story short, he was dealing with his stuff, but I was also dealing with my stuff that caused me to be attracted to the broken parts of him.
Wow.
Right. And so I had to understand that, okay, what in me is drawn to someone who is not ready for me? What in me is drawn that feels like I have to have this person who is indecisive concerning me? Wow. And the beautiful thing about God, because this is not like the ideal, this is not the wouldn't recommend, right?
No,
wouldn't recommend.
No, that's
recommend.
It's
God is just good, and he worked it out. We healed about the same time. And I mean, by healing, I was not only on my face at the altar, I was in therapy. Right? I had things from my childhood that made me have that rejection and that abandonment and that low value self-esteem that I had to rectify. Right? The things that I think as women.
All right. And let's play the second clip. Hang on. There we
Relationships and marriage in general that I've seen, I would say fear is a crazy, huge theme.
Mm-hmm.
When I speak to people, when I speak to younger people, when I speak to even older people, maybe divorcees that are happening, that are scared of new relationships, fear is a huge, and they may not say it's fear off bat, but their reasoning for not going into a new relationship, or the reasons why their relationship may have broken down, or long term, I've been with someone for 10 years and hey, are you getting married? It's like, no, we're not getting married. It's like, what? Well,
what's happening?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Like that was
right.
I'm assuming that's just a natural progress.
That's the next step here, right?
Yeah, no, we just in the 11th grade, no graduation. But it seems to be something that I see a lot. So, destroying those kind of fear situations and being able to encourage people, being able to tell people, hey, we can still do it. It works. Happily works.
That's the thing,
right? Happily works, and this is how you want to build your family. This is how you want to be able to set up and encourage each other, and you want a life partner for the rest of your life. Like, why wouldn't you?
I think that the other part to that is people are saying, well, I can do it my way, right? I can have a life partner, and we're just going to stay shacking up for the next however, because it's just a piece of paper. No, it's not a piece of paper. It is a covenant. It is God's blessing over
Mhm.
your marriage and over your future. And unfortunately, I think that we're at a time where people are so disillusioned by the divorce rate, by what they've seen in church, out of church, everywhere, right? Their parents, their
Right,
own
right.
lived experiences of broken homes, that they're like, if it's just a piece of paper, then I don't have to have it. But that really, to Isaac's point, is fear. And I think that the silence needs to be broken because so many people, and this is only by the goodness of God that, we're married, right? That we found each other, that God put us together. But so many people say, wow, this can still happen. You guys are an encouragement. And I'm like, that's weird.
All right. Well, there we have it. The oaths spit the wisdom. So, Laura, what you think about those clips?
Um, I just think everything they were saying is extremely true about like people not wanting to get married and people wanting to, oh, I'm gonna do it my way, or it's just a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. And a lot of things that I hear is well, if you're married, people can still cheat on you, and like I don't know, it's just stuff they were saying is completely true. And I think it is good to talk about. It is good to like break the silence on it because just like she said, people do probably hear about the divorce rate. I know personally, I know more divorced people who are in church than out of church, and so I definitely think
Right.
that's something that needs to be talked about more, especially when with younger people who are like in relationships and stuff like that.
No, I mean, that's solid, right? I think the whole world, whether we're young or old, um, that there has been a misconception about marriage. Like you said, whether we get married or not, I can still get cheated on. And so, they're just trying to save the heartbreak, an easier get out plan in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And just I think the fear of commitment, commitment is hard all over the place, whether it is with somebody, whether it's your job or just a life goal. Sometimes it's hard for us to stay committed, and because there's so many different options out here, so many distractions. And I think if we could just remember the true sentiment of what marriage is, how God created it to be and what it's for, I think that would break the silence, that would break some of these perceptions of relationships. But it has to be work on both ends. And I think Jamie said that at the first clip, right? How she was very vulnerable about her transformation, I guess you could say, in the sense of like, sometimes we're broken, sometimes we've haven't dealt with some life issues. And I would definitely recommend that to any of us who are out here dating, trying to get to the next step of marriage and so forth. If you have not dealt with your past, if you have not dealt with those trauma places, do not expect your partner to be that rescue. Do not expect them to be the God to fix those things. They can only go so far. And they too will have some issues and some things, but you have to work together to become one, right? So we just want to say shout out to the Oaths once again. Thank you so much for that great wisdom. And like I said, it goes for all generations, as you have helped us here tonight. Ain't that right, Lauren?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, let's get into the next clip. This clip was our first guest of Tea Time when we first started the season. Shout out to Coach Gina. If you are looking for a life coach, that is someone you definitely want to connect with. Coach Gina Foster. We will share her information when we share the clips again this week and next week so that you all can connect with her. But she and our other two guests, we'll get into their clip later, but we wanted to talk about breaking the silence and women empowerment. Lauren, have you had issues, hanging out with other young ladies, other girls, connected with them? Like, has it ever been a problem for you?
Issues like how?
In the sense of just connecting with one another, trusting one another, just building relationship.
Yes and no. with a lot of in a lot of groups that I'm in, I'm kind of like, I guess you can say, the mom. Like a lot of
Hey, come
people,
on, Mom.
I have such an old soul.
You do. You absolutely do.
Yeah, and I love that about myself. But because of that, growing up, it was kind of hard to like hang out with like girls my age because like mostly in high school they were into stuff that I just wasn't into.
Right.
But I was always like the mentor. Like if people just needed to talk, like people would come to me. I even had like adults coming to me at
Wow.
like 17, 18 years old, like asking for my advice on things. And like I didn't look at it in like a weird way. I kind of looked at it as like a blessing.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and also, growing up in church and just certain things I just didn't do. And so that
Right.
also kind of created some issues with like finding friends my age. But it's cool now because all my friends are way older than me. So
Listen, well, we thank you for stepping into the mom role. Everybody needs the mom in the group, right?
yeah.
But and we're very blessed to be able to have, whether you're a mom, whether you're the kicking friend, the venting friend, the listening friend, whatever friend you role play, you or any role you play as the friend in the group, right? That we are empowering though one another, right? And sometimes it's not as easy, for some to connect, to find that sisterhood, to find that connection, whether you did start trusting a group of friends and they broke your heart, or betrayed you, or whatever the case may be. And just trying to rebuild that and try to show that there's still true examples of sisterhood out here, right? That you can still find your group of sisters to do life with. And shout out to all my sisters out there
Shout
who
out to
have been my circle, right? So let's share this clip of what she was sharing with us on that Tea Time episode. Could be an inner thing. Is it due to maybe, a male leadership situation? Is it our denomination? Is it the community of our church? Just, because that's how the community is. That's how we talk to each other, get used to it. How do we deal with these lack thereofs?
We ain't gonna talk about the men yet. For us, I think we have to get past the isms and schisms.
Ooh,
I think we have to get past who people used to be,
that's
because
good.
we all used to be somebody, right? And we're
Mhm.
always growing and evolving in God. So sometimes I can get caught up with who you fool with,
That's real.
because 5 years ago they may have hurt me. So
Right.
that's where I kept that, right? I never dealt with that. So now that I'm growing in ministry, I can still be stuck at 5 years ago, where I'm not going to encourage your ministry because of what you did to me in the past.
That's good.
So being able to get past that part, to forgive them. I ain't saying I got to rock with you. However, I
Right.
need to forgive them and not hold them to who they used to be. Because guess what?
That's good.
Somebody could do the same thing with me. Like, oh, you
Right.
rocking with them? Well, I remember when, right? I
Okay.
remember when that come up, that's where the issues come up with
That's
the I
good.
remember wins.
But
That-
let's
that's
talk. I just have, sorry, Joe. I got one side question to that. 'Cause let's talk about that. I remember wins. What is the significance of bringing up I remember wins? Is it because we're afraid of giving this person a chance? Is it we got trust issues? Why would I hold that grudge or hold that guard in a sense of you used to be? What do you think that is?
Let's talk about it. Unless I can't see what's going on in the chats, but I would say I'm remembering when, because that's where I left it. I haven't healed from what happened.
That's
So
good.
until I heal, I can't move past that. So when we get to talking about what happened 5 years ago or 2 years ago or whatever it is, it's because I was hurt. I was offended, right? So my offense is talking.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that is good. That is
We got to
good.
deal with it. We got to deal
Uh,
with it. All right. So there we have it. She helped us deal with the schisms and isms.
I never heard
And
that.
right. Like, and I think the biggest thing that I could say from this clip is that, you know, we have to be careful that we don't judge people for their past, but allow them to present themselves for what is now and could be the future. So, um, Lauren, what's your thoughts on the clip? I guess I could say that.
Um, well, I just agree with what you said. You know, it's important that we don't judge people based on their past because like God doesn't do that to us.
Right.
He forgives us if we ask for it. But yeah, that's an interesting topic.
Okay, sounds like you got a little bit more tea to talk about, but we'll leave it at that. But no, we thank Coach Gina for starting off the tea time season, and such a heavy topic at that. Like I said, women empowerment. You know, a lot of times, once again, if we don't close those doors, if we don't have the conversations with the, some offenses, some issues, we'll always hold those grudges, and it doesn't have to be, right? We're all grown, we're all moving forward in life. So let's encourage and empower one another, right? All right. And so then the next guest that we had in that Breaking the Silence and Women Empowerment was Miss Tovez and Miss Tanya, a great dynamic duo who is the founder of Unleash Prayer. If you have not yet joined them, you definitely need to. They do prayer every morning from 6 a.m. To 7 Central Standard Time. On Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. So definitely link into the group. It's here on Facebook. You can also reach them on, I think they have a YouTube channel as well. So wherever you can find the Unleashed Prayer Group, you definitely want to tap in. They have 2 annual events that are life changing. I have been for the last several years, and I have always enjoyed. I always look forward to those events as long as I don't have something going on. So, but I want to share a clip from Miss Tanya about her episode here. So let's share it.
Healed, be holy, and be whole. And remember,
Oops, let's
just
start
stay
from the
grounded
beginning.
in God's presence and just allow Him to heal you. Be healed, be holy, and be whole. And remember, your process is not punishment, it's preparation. And
Come on.
everything that tried to break you is about to become your breaking point into destiny.
There we have it. All right. That was some wisdom right there. Your breaking point is not your how did she say it? Your breaking point is not your punishment, right?
Yeah.
That there is always time and opportunity for God to heal, to rebuild, to reestablish, to transform you into whom He's called you to. So, what's your thoughts on that short little clip?
Actually, I remember that actual thing. I was like in tears the whole time. I
Listen,
remember,
it was a doozy, wasn't
oh yeah, it was.
it?
Um, yeah, and like what she said actually goes back to the first thing I talked about with my school. Having to like start over. I was so mad. I was so mad. I almost dropped out. I was so mad.
Oh,
I was
listen.
so mad. But it was mainly because I already had like my life kind of like planned out. Like, okay, by this year I'm gonna be doing this, blah blah. And so when I had to, chop that up, it just wasn't what I wanted. But yeah, I definitely had to remember that like yeah, I had to remember that God wouldn't allow that to happen just to break me. That there's a reason in the season for everything.
And there is, come on and testify tonight. Okay, right. I love it. I love it. And that's real. Like, we thank God for the wisdom that, helps us to see and open our eyes to the darkness that is in front of us, right? Sometimes we can just be so consumed of what's happened or has happened that, it's hard to see through that. It's hard to forgive that. It's hard to break down the walls and push through, which leads me to our next episode. We had a great, amazing guest as well. She is somebody who is well known here in the Twin Cities, Miss Sarah Nova. She is doing sisterhood community events all the time, so definitely make sure you follow her. And she talked about forgiveness, breaking the silence and forgiveness. And so here's a clip from that episode.
Say to someone who is stuck in the victim mentality and likes it there.
Surprisingly, that's a lot of Christians, right? We have the mindset that people are constantly doing something to us instead of the mindset that we came to shift
Yes.
the environment. So it doesn't matter if people are doing things to you, because your goal is to teach them how to respond to what they're doing, right? That's what Jesus did. He said, if someone is doing wrong towards you, someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. What was he teaching us? He was teaching us how to respond. But we're stuck in the someone slapped me. So half of us is, I can't believe someone slapped me.
What would you say to?
Whoops. There we go. Listen, that episode full of gems. I just want to say, definitely go back to some of these, listen to them in the fullness thereof, and you will catch the whole episode and the whole message. But just in that, like, that is powerful. I think a lot of us, we tend to stay in the victim mindset. We tend to, as we just spoke about, we tend to focus on the negative of what happened to us versus changing the environment, the mindset, in order to be able to forgive. What's your thoughts, Lauren?
When I was when I was watching that clip you just played, it reminded me of a random meme that I just saw, and I thought it was so funny. And it said, church people never say they got fired from a job. They'll just say God closed that door.
Yes.
And like that definitely reminded me of that. 'Cause it was like the whole time you being late, not showing up, not doing your job. Then as soon as you get fired, oh, God closed that door, when it's like you did it to yourself. So
okay,
that victim mentality.
That is the perfect meme. We're gonna post that this week. You gotta find it.
I'll try to find it. I literally just saw it like 3 days ago. I thought it was so
we gotta put it with the clip.
That's so true. Like, I remember being younger and like testimony service, we'd be like, yeah, God closed that door the whole time they got fired.
Right. We don't want to take responsibility for what has really happened, right? And it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to fail. No one is perfect, right? But we're striving for perfection. And it's admitting that, as they say, in order to recover, you got to admit that you got a problem. You got some issues, right? And if we continue to try to cover some things up, we'll never be able to really pursue all the things that God has for us. So once again, there's another tea time moment. You got to restore that soul. All right. All right. So I think we are getting close to the last few clips here. Yeah, we're actually on the last one. And this was from our last episode where we talked about breaking the silence and suicide. Shout out to Miss Angie, who was so transparent and so willing to be vulnerable about her journey as an adolescent and teenage years, of how she dealt with suicide and her attempt of suicide, and how she has recovered and how she presses forward to helping others around her at that. And so here is a clip of that episode.
Tried to commit suicide at the age of 16. Dealing with so much harsh things in life with, I grew up in poverty, was homeless, didn't have food sometimes. It was a lot of stuff. There was verbal abuse, mental abuse, all kind of, not too much physical abuse, but there were, depending on what would happen. Um, no sexual though, which, thank you, Lord,
Praise
because I
God.
don't know how I would have dealt
Amen.
with that. That would have been a
Amen.
whole different
Listen,
thing.
listen.
And I probably wouldn't be here to tell that story because something else.
Right.
But think just going through so much and so many things that are weighed on you in life.
Mhm.
Even as a teenager, you don't realize the pressure that is put on teenagers.
All right. So she kind of shared about how her journey, like I said, in her teenage years affected her in attempting suicide and the pressure. What have been maybe some of your pressures, Lauren, as a young person these days?
Uh,
If you want to share it now, let me not put you on the spot. But
I don't mind. We were actually just talking about this at a girls' night I went to this weekend.
nice.
Yeah. I would say some pressures for me would be simply not trying to like, I don't know how to put this. I don't want to say not like comparing myself to others because I don't really do that, but I guess not trying to like make my own path and not following the path that God had for me. I guess I'll say that. Yeah, a lot of times I tend to just like want things to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when it don't go that way, it like spazzes me out really bad. Yeah, so I'd say that's like the biggest pressure for me. And I don't know if this would be considered a pressure, but procrastination. It's a huge pressure for me. I have that so bad. It's terrible. And it
I
needs to
think,
stop.
some of us are still working on that. I procrastinate myself in some areas, but we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. We're going to keep striving and we're going to do better next year, right? We're going to do better next year. We're going to do better next year. But no, that's good. Some pressures, in our daily routines can be a lot, and we don't know, like you said, sometimes we don't know the outcome. We don't know what we're going to face. We don't know the unexpected. And sometimes we have to deal with that, but yet we have relationship with God. We're quick to be like, listen, sir, you the God of all gods here. What you gonna do about this, right? Or why did you let this happen? Get me out of here. But however he chooses, sometimes those are our life lessons, right? And we just got to take a breather. We got to stay calm and get to a calm place, as to say, and really allow him to heal us and to help us. But if you are ever dealing with those types of pressures and you need somebody to talk to, like we always say, you are willing to reach out here on Tea Time with Liz. We are always available to support you, encourage you, help you in your healing journey as well. So we know that the holidays can be a rough time for others, missing loved ones that may have passed, just like you said, the pressures of just surviving from day to day, the climate, financially, the economic system is not going well these days. And, we all are feeling the pressure. So, smile at someone, tap them on the shoulder, maybe give them a hug, however they feel. But, we do got to share a little love in this season. That will go a long way. All right. Well, those are all the clips I got on Tea Time this season. Once again, we just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in to the episodes. Hopefully, you have been encouraged. You have been healing well in this journey this year. And Lauren, let's just recap our own personal years. How has 2025 been treating you?
2025 actually wasn't completely terrible.
That's
It,
good.
I got accepted into my social work program, which I'm so happy about.
Okay, congratulations. Let's give it up for her. All right. That's what's up. Woohoo.
I joined a very well-known community choir here in Milwaukee called AMPM. Shout out to Anthony McGahee, Praise Motivated. Shout out to Anthony. Everybody be calling him Uncle Fonda.
Okay.
Love him. Great. And check out our music. We have a concert coming up January 31st.
All right. Well, we're going to post it here on Tea Time with Liz. So you send us the information. Stay tuned for that. All right.
Yeah. I became a godmom to 2 beautiful baby girls.
Oh, love it. Godmoms are the best.
Yeah. I get to buy them a whole bunch of stuff and play mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's overall, like you said, it hasn't been a bad year, right? It's had its ups and downs, but through it all, it seems like you quoted a lot of positive things. So that's what's up. I went back to our Tea Time with Liz last year's finale, and I think my word was, I want to say promise. I think that's what it was.
Oh, we did do words last year.
Yeah, it was. I can't. I meant to write it down, and I don't have my notebook by me right now. Okay. But overall, what I did say, it came out a different way. Let's just say that, right? What I was expecting God to do and how He was going to do it. I was, we have these pre-notations of, yeah, this is how it could work, Lord. And I trust you. I believe you. And He's like, yeah, I have a whole different plan. And but this year has been a year of teaching, a year of training, just within me personally, right? Like just knowing who I am even more, but also learning how to break my own silence, right? To speak up. Sometimes I've always been like a person who doesn't really say much. And I've definitely found somewhat of a voice, but through it all too, I had to learn how to, we say, love our enemies and do good unto them. But how do we love people who are not believers, right? Like who may not have a totally walk with Christ. We don't get to shove them out. Like they still have an opportunity to change their life. And the only way to do that sometimes is through our light, right? And I had to catch myself a couple of times because these children of darkness out here can try you, right? But but nevertheless, I really found a deeper love for God, a deeper love for God's people and those to come. I definitely have been my horizons have been broadened, to see different cultures, to experience different cultures, to sit at different tables. God has answered some prayers from my own family. And just, I think my biggest highlight was going to 12-hour prayer with my mom and my sister this year. I know that is like so churchy, right? But 12 hours, we was in there killing it. And they never had been. They were super excited. Your girl talked it up. I have not missed a 12-hour prayer in like 4 years. So I brought them with me this year. They finally said yes, and they're ready for next year. We're ready for next year, and
Period.
I think my dad's coming too. So we're
Ooh.
gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. But I'm excited. Just the togetherness that the Lord is bringing for us there. So, like you said, it hasn't been a bad year. It really hasn't. The world gets crazier, of course, but overall, God has been pretty good. I stand on that. I want to shout out Joe. I know she didn't get to talk about her word. Her word was emerge. I do remember hers. And she definitely stepped out this year. I'm proud of her. She did her own conference, and so many showed up and supported. And she let little old me be a part as well. And I was excited to be a part to see. I was sick, but I pressed my way that day to really try to support her as best. And the Lord moved. He moved mightily. It was a lot of healing, a lot of deliverance. And I just want to shout her out for stepping out, for emerging this year. She really stepped into the word of the Lord. So shout out to you, Joe. We are proud of you here on Tea Time. Woo! And so we're looking forward to what she's going to be doing next year. I'm sure she will share with us sooner than later. So with that being said, what are you expecting next year? What's your goals? What's your word this next year?
Oh no. I definitely want to work on that procrastination because it's bad. It's
Back,
affecting me a
back.
lot.
We gotta do that. We gotta do that. All right, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Um, as far as like what I specifically want, um, well, if I could get a tad bit personal, at the girls' night that I had went to, we actually talked about that as well. What we want God to do for us in 2026, and the main thing that I think I want is to just like be more confident in who I am and in my gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like with my confidence, it's not like look wise or anything like that. It's more like I just get really shy when I am in front at all. If I have to sing in front of people, like I have to do a lot of like amping myself up. I know
Right.
I can sing, but like I just have to like encourage myself a lot to do it.
Right.
Um Even if I'm asked to like pray or like speak somewhere or something, like I always just be like, oh my god, like I shouldn't be doing this, like there's so many other people better than me, like why am I doing it? And so I really want to like be more confident in my gifts that God has blessed me with, and just to like not be so shy if I am like pulled to the front.
Well, I mean, you did good tonight. Listen, let's give it
I'm
up for
saying,
this Lord. Listen, you did this on the last minute, and
well, it's also
you
not
ain't been
people
shy.
around me.
Well, of course, you always got great support, and God is always with you, right? But we definitely gonna believe that for you this year or next year. We're gonna see a different Lauren stepping out, being bold and beautiful. That's it. Bold and beautiful. Let's do it, right? That is what's up. That is what's up. Um, you know what? I have contemplated over and over, and I have nothing. I have nothing. I have nothing. I don't know what next year is going to bring. I'm excited. By all means, I'm definitely excited. Um, I have some petitions up there with the Lord that I'm looking for Him to move to do. But I'm learning that it's God's timing for everything, right? I could say it's gonna be my year for this, and you'd be like, "Nah, sis, that's a couple more years away." But I think just if I could say anything, is just being intentional, right? Like just being focused and intentional on whatever it is that the Lord places in my way, in my lap, whatever room He opens the door to be just intentional and focus on whatever that is. So I think maybe that would be it. That's where I'm gonna leave it. So
So, do you have any goals that maybe you set last year that you didn't quite finish that you want to bring?
wow, you're just gonna put me on the spot tonight, Lauren.
Oh my bad.
No, I love this. I love it. I said, look at her turning it around. Okay. Do I have any goals? Well, I do have a goal. There is a book I'm getting. There's actually 2 books I need to start writing. There's 2 books. So, be the Lord's will. We should have 2 books done next year. That's the goal.
Okay.
2 books. 2 books. That's the goal. Otherwise, I think just, being intentional, like I said, with my health, being intentional in ministry, and just being intentional with myself, knowing what I can handle, what I can't. Your girl always wants to be a yes woman, and I think I'm at an age where I'm like, okay,
Be a no woman.
we got to balance woman. Okay, that's what we go. As you help me with balance, I'm gonna help you with procrastination. How about that? We're gonna hold each other accountable, right? So I think balance, that would be another word. So intentional, focus, and balance. I think I still struggle with balance, but we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Hopefully in this next year, Lord. In Jesus' name. All right. Well, saints and friends, family, we thank you all. We hope that you have such an amazing Christmas holiday. Whatever you believe in, just whatever you decide to do, make sure you spend time with your friends, your loved ones. Let someone know you care, you love them. That this is the season of love. This is the season of giving, and that, you take the time to do so. Lord, you want to say anything? Last few words, advice, anything?
Just everybody go slay 2026.
There you have it. From Gen Z herself. Go slay 2026. All right. Until next year, y'all. We love you. Have a good night.
Bye.